Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Look, if you've been watching the brokerage market, you already know that moving your capital around can be a literally game-changing strategy for your yields. So today, we're taking a heavily data-driven look at the May 2026 brokerage bonus landscape. We're going to map out the absolute best current bonuses, looking at the dollar amounts, the APYs, hold times, and, all those pesky terms and conditions. But hey, before we get into the actual numbers, I want to be radically transparent with you right out of the gate. This explainer is based on an AI-generated summary of the current market data. And because the brokerage landscape shifts literally all the time, and since we are talking about your hard-earned money here, you've got to verify all of these details directly with the brokers before transferring any funds. Seriously, always double-check the fine print yourself. Okay, let's dive into this. First, we'll look at the overall May 2026 landscape. 2. Comparing top transfer tiers. 3. A deep dive into the Kraken 1.5% offer. 4. Asset risks and taxes. And finally, tools for bonus maximization. All right, Section 1, the May 2026 landscape. The overall market for these bonuses has shifted quite a bit recently, and context is just everything when you're evaluating today's offers. If we look back at the timeline, you can kind of see the chronological shift we've gone through over the last several months. Back in September of 2025, we saw some incredible offers, like the WeBull 4% and that previous Kraken 2% bonus. Then, heading into December 2025 and January 2026, we hit what felt like a total golden age. But as we sit here today in May 2026, well, we're facing a much more muted reality. Those massive no-brainer bonuses have definitely cooled off, which just means we have to be way more strategic about where we park our cash right now. To really put this shift into perspective, let's compare that legendary January 2026 TastyTrade offer to what we're seeing pop up today. That TastyTrade offer was just incredible. A 2% absolute bonus with a 6-month hold, which basically translates to a massive 4% APY, and they capped it at $250K. Actually, scratch that. It wasn't just massive. It was literally the golden standard. Nothing today really comes close to that. Instead, we're seeing these sort of oddities like the current Trade bonus. Now, Trade caught our attention because of its really short hold time, but they've actually already started shifting their terms and conditions slightly. Plus, compared to the major players, Trade is relatively unknown, so that brings a completely different level of reputation risk into the equation. Moving right along to Section 2, comparing top transfer tiers. Now, what's really interesting about this is how your strategy has to change drastically based on your portfolio size. If you're moving $50,000 or $100,000, your target brokers and hold times are going to look vastly different than if you're moving $250,000 or a cool $1 million. For those lower tiers, you might find smaller brokers offering high APYs just to get you in the door. But as you scale up to that $250K or $1 million mark, the pool of brokers willing to pay a premium shrinks pretty dramatically. You really have to balance that absolute bonus amount against the required hold time to calculate your true annual percentage yield. Which brings us to Section 3, the Kraken 1.5% deep dive. 1 million. That is the absolute staggering cap on the current Kraken 1.5% offer. Now, while nothing touches that historical TastyTrade 4% APY equivalent, remember that TastyTrade capped you at $250,000. Kraken, they're allowing you to bring in up to $1 million. Generally speaking, any large bonus offering greater than a 1% APY is fantastic. So right now, this Kraken offer is by far the best large bonus on the market. But hold on a second. Think about this number right here, $500,000. Why is this crucial? Well, because $500,000 is the standard SIPC insurance limit for securities. And this is exactly where risk management becomes paramount. If you go ahead and max out the Kraken offer at that full $1 million, half of your capital is sitting totally exposed above that protective SIPC threshold. So, I'm posing this question directly to you. Depending on how much you actually have to transfer, does it make sense to do the Kraken bonus at $500,000 so you stay nice and safe under that SIPC insurance limit? Or, if your risk tolerance is a bit higher, do you want to just YOLO and push it all the way up to that $1 million cap to maximize your absolute return? It is the ultimate risk versus reward dilemma of this particular offer. Let's turn to Section 4, Asset Risks and Taxes. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the major hidden catches with the Kraken offer, because there's always a catch when it comes to free money, right? It's their stock lending program. Honestly, it's quite off-putting, and it's a big reason why a lot of people just flat out skipped their last 2% bonus. If your portfolio is filled with high volatility or meme stocks, think Nvidia or GameStop,
those are highly sought after by short sellers. That means they are very likely to be lent out. However, if you're transferring what we might call, let's say, uninteresting stocks or broad market ETFs that aren't really likely to be borrowed, like VT or VTI, participating in this bonus is just so much safer.
Beyond the asset risk, we really have to talk about the administrative headaches. And I literally cannot stress this enough. Kraken has a pretty notorious history of messing up their 1099 tax forms. They've had to reissue them multiple times in the past, which is honestly a massive, frustrating pain if you're someone who likes to file your taxes early. You really have to weigh that headache against the 1.5% yield. And, like we touched on earlier, you also have shifting terms from places like Tradier, alongside their relatively unknown reputation. Basically, you absolutely have to factor the broker's operational competence into your final decision.
All right, finally, Section 5, Tools for Bonus Maximization.
So to help you take action, we've actually built a system so you can completely bypass the manual math. Step 1, just visit our website at bonusprofessor.com. Step 2, you simply input the exact amount of capital you want to transfer, whether that's $50K, $100K, or a full million. And step 3, the site instantly calculates and displays the absolute highest APY and bonus currently available specifically for you. It's awesome. It takes the guesswork completely out of the whole shebang.
I also want to take a quick second to acknowledge our roots here. We are massive, massive fans of sites like Doctor of Credit or DOC. Our whole goal is to supplement the incredible work that those kinds of sites do. But look, to keep improving, we really need your help. We'd love for you to join our community. Come chat with us on Discord or share your feedback and data points on our subreddit at r/bonusprofessor. The more data the community shares, the better we can all optimize our yields together. Well, we've covered a ton of ground today, from the shifting landscape to the very specific nuances of that Kraken 1 million cap. So I'm going to leave you with this. With the golden age of bonuses cooling off and the market demanding way more strategic thinking, what moves will you make today to optimize your capital? Thank you so much for learning with me on this explainer. Stay focused, do your research, and I will see you next time.